I went off to Cambridge so I could see for ourselves the pro-Palestine protest encampment that was on the King's College lawns in Cambridge. It's a protest from the Cambridge University students about ending the occupation, about divesting university funds away from Israel into Palestinian lands. We were made to believe that the streets of Cambridge were electric as the protesters have gathered en masse and they're all chanting Free Palestine. But in reality, we're in the heart of an historic university town. There's no mass Palestinian flags. There's no chants from the students to the lecturers of Free Palestine. And not many people have decided to turn out en masse for solidarity. Yes, we have defiant banners. Yes, have pamphlets going about seeking what the demands are of the university students. And essentially it's about giving Palestine the statehood and ending the Israeli occupation. Protesters here blame Israel's occupation for violating Palestinians' human rights and want their territory returned. So let's start there. We'll go to the encampment and see exactly what they've got to say. Because after all, if you look on TikTok, if you look on Twitter, if you look on any social media, they have a lot to say. This is a university that, many people do not get to. They don't get the grades or they can't afford it or whatever. So it's very prestigious in British history. And now we've got people outside camping because they're on the understanding that this protest is going to change hearts and minds. When I get there, I'm walking up and down, I'm taking a few shots. I'm looking for those TikTok influencers, those people who are in Instagram constantly speaking out about why they are on the lawns, why are they feeling that they have to do this encampment, and nobody will speak to me. They all say I have to speak to one or two media people. Now, none of them wanted to be recorded. They all said that they didn't want to be shown on any type of media coverage unless it was authorised, and the only people there was Al Jazeera. They were the authorised people. So I thought as independent media, they would want to speak to us rather than the mainstream. And this is one conversation that I had. Media people around here, mate.
Any media folks about? Media?
There. Any media folks about? They're calling for someone who is an official spokesperson. This is an operation that is very much controlling the narrative. They're controlling the sound bites that come out up and down the country. We're hearing the same sound bites. We're hearing the same types of things, even in America. Now, thankfully, so far, the universities of the UK have not gone to the American standards. But like George Floyd, we're only ever a week or two away from hitting that type of madness. The sound bites are the same. Why? Because they're controlling the narrative. Who's controlling the narrative? Who are these people interfering? Hey, mate. Anyone able to speak about, general bits about it, what it is?
Sure.
And there's a bit of, sorry?
Who's this for?
I'm independent, so I'll just try and put it around as much as I can. I've got a lot of things on TikTok, generally things like that.
Okay.
Is it going to be you, is it?
It could be, yeah. I mean, we have spokespeople who, spokespeople are the only people that can speak to the media. What we generally ask for, any media that wants to interview, is to reach out beforehand. So we have a phone number and an email specifically for, essentially booking a spot, just to make sure that we have someone on site that can give an interview.
Right. They need an email address and a telephone number from myself, just so they know that somebody is there on site. No, it's because they give it to the higher up people and they'll do a full search to make sure that the media that they're talking to is the correct media. This is strange, in my opinion, because they're trying to free Palestine, yet they're not even allowed to speak. And I think that one of the reasons why they need to have a special media team there is because half of them are being paid and they don't know what protest they're actually on.
So, like, seeing as this is sort of like a little bit like on the fly, can you give us 10 minutes?
Yeah, that's
15
fine.
minutes?
That's fine. So, I've been at this encampment now for a good couple of hours. Been trying to wait for somebody to speak to me because then, as if by magic, my fortunes changed dramatically. I spoke to a guy from Al Jazeera TV, and let's just say I managed to get a couple of interviews. And not only did I get interviews, again, I managed to find out these people who are now put in front by the media team, in front of the cameras to speak openly and speak freely, are only really speaking from a script. Hello, this is for Urban Scoop. So we just want to know why you are here.
We're here today to stand against our university's complicity in the ongoing massacre of innocent civilians, children, women in Gaza and the West Bank, in Palestine in general. The university, so far, we know that it invests £17 million in companies like Caterpillar, BAE Systems, and Elbit Technologies, all of which are directly contributing to the bombs that drop on the civilians in Gaza. We know that this is just a drop in the bucket. The university as a whole refuses to disclose. It's only the colleges that have disclosed this amount, and we're here to ask for them to disclose all their ties with Israel, to divest from those and to reinvest in Palestinian livelihood, as well as protect the students that are currently sitting in the camp. Our primary concern is with the Palestinian civilians currently being bombarded in Gaza and the West Bank. Our exams are secondary to that. We know that every university in Gaza has been decimated. Every university and every school has been bombed. The school year has completely ended. Our exams are small and minute and tiny compared to this atrocity that's currently taking place. The struggle is much bigger than our exams, and we're willing to risk our grades in order to get the university to stop essentially funding the ongoing massacre in Gaza.
Hello, my name is Adam Sutcliffe. I'm a professor of history at King's College London, and I've been very honoured to be invited by the students here in their Palestine Solidarity camp in Cambridge to come today to give a teach-in, or to do a teach-in with them. And my topic was the misuse or the weaponisation of anti-Semitism at the moment, which is being used, I think, by our government and by others to accuse people who are speaking out against what Israel is doing in Gaza of being anti-Semitic, and the fear of that accusation is one reason why some people want to speak out on the issue, but they don't speak out because they're scared of the accusation. So I explore these issues with them. We discussed, for example, what their response should be if they're asked why are they singling out the issue of Palestine when there are many other terrible things happening in the world, bloodshed, warfare in Ethiopia, in Sudan and elsewhere. And I said, well, there are many things one could say in response to that, but the most important one is that unlike other wars and atrocities carrying on in the world at the moment, this one is being carried out essentially with the support of the British government. Rishi Sunak, when he went to Israel recently, he said to Benjamin Netanyahu, we want you to win. Arms from Britain are being sent there. And there is a solution that we could contribute to if our own government stopped sending arms to Israel, divested from Israel, agreed to the very specific demands that the students in this camp are making of people in this country. So we're focusing on this issue, firstly because it is an atrocity of phenomenal proportions, but also because by speaking powerfully around this issue, we can really have an impact, we believe, to contribute to ending the genocide.
Remember when I said they only speak on script? Here is the guy from Al Jazeera asking the professor a question that he wasn't prepared for, and this is how he answered it.
Record. I am from Sudan.
Yeah?
I think you mentioned about Sudan.
Yes.
Yeah. Can you a little bit about 1 minute about Sudan?
Yes, but can I discuss with you what I want to say first? Because you know more about it.
Yeah.
What I would want to say is Are you filming me now, or can we just...
Stop filming.
No, I want to just talk to your colleague for like a minute, and then see if you agree with it.
I'll
Because I'm not so important, and then we'll film.
Yeah, yeah.
What I said to them, is that Sudan is terrible, and we should know more about it,
Yeah.
and we should speak more about it.
Yes.
But it is a very complicated situation, and no one, I don't think, knows a easy way to bring that bloodshed to an end. And our government is not on one side or on the other side. It isn't directly implicated in the way that it is in Palestine. So we should speak more about it. But we're not able, sadly, to have the same kind of impact to address that awful situation as we can have and are trying to have around Palestine.
Yes.
Do you think that makes sense
Yes,
as an
yes.
argument?
Yes.
Yes.
Agree.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Can you do that?
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
Yeah? You're good?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is what the viewers will see, and we wouldn't have got this because all you see is the edited clips that they want to give out.
So sometimes the students and others are asked, for example, why aren't you protesting about what is happening in Sudan? Why are you focusing only on Palestine? And I think it is true that what is happening in Sudan is absolutely terrible, and we are under-informed about it. Al Jazeera reports on Sudan, but the British media tells us almost nothing about Sudan. People are ignorant about it and unconcerned about it, and we should educate ourselves and speak out. But the situation in Sudan is very complicated. The fighting, the civil war, is a hideous and complex situation. Our government is not on one side rather than the other. And there, as far as I know, is no clear way forward to bring that tragic situation to an end. I wish there were, but I don't think there is. Palestine is different because our government is partisan. Our government is lending military and moral and political support to Israel in the killing of Palestinian civilians and the oppression of the Palestinian people. And the demands that these students have would, if our government assented to them and the university assented to them, have a real impact on contributing to bringing the genocide in Gaza to an end. So we are focusing on this issue because there's a real chance that we can have an impact on that issue.
And finally, we get to Dr. Channa Morgenstein. Now, in this clip you're going to hear was the pre-interview clip where the guy a few clips before with the bandana on, he is coaching the professor what she should be saying. Now, the professor's a Jewish professor and she's pro-Palestine, and he was very clear that maybe she should steer it away from the demands of the camps and put it onto the lecturers, put it onto the teachers, the professors of the university, and how they actually support everyone and what they're doing at the camp.
Okay, so like essentially, why are you here? Like, yeah, I think you understand. Like, why are you here? And you can bring in the idea of like faculty showing support for students.
Okay.
Like, why are you here today? And what do you want to do? Like, I think we know our demands are separate from. I mean, well, you can say what faculty is aiming to do, or like what the purpose.
Okay. Yeah. Let me.
Do you want to take a minute to formulate?
I don't want to do any work.
Okay. Do you want? They can do multiple shots if you're not.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Why don't you just let me talk for a minute? And then
Okay.
Yeah. Right, so you're from Al Jazeera?
Yeah, Jazeera Mubashir. Jazeera
Okay.
Live.
Okay. My name is Dr. Hannah Morgenstern, and I'm a lecturer at Cambridge University. I am here because, as an associate professor at Cambridge, I want to support students who are basically opposing the war in Gaza and demanding from the university that they divest. It's particularly important to me as a Jewish faculty member because I think this war is dangerous for Palestinians and for Jews. And I believe that an end to this war will bring about a better solution, whereas I think this war is a catastrophe and a huge pain and a trauma for us at the university to be watching it in real time, and many of us have also lost friends, colleagues, and relatives, as well as our students many of my students are really distressed. I have had students who have had emotional breakdowns. I have students who have lost people. So we're not only affected from the situation, the terrible catastrophe from afar, we're also affected close up because our students in our classrooms and our colleagues are also quite impacted by the violence happening in Gaza right now.
So there we have it. The Cambridge University encampment protest that's only available for people who are pre-selected by the protesters. But whilst I've been going through the video to try and get this out and try and convey the message across, it's become clear to me all the signs are there, and it's the story of the bigger picture. So we can see the mannerisms, we can see them controlling the narrative, and we can see them only doing what their paymasters want them to do. And that right there shows me that this is no different to the Black Lives Matter Marxist takeover. Their Marxists are using these types of things to promote their own agenda. They don't care that Hamas is a terrorist organisation. They don't care that it's promoting terrorism. People like Hizb ut-Tahrir and other prescribed terrorist groups are able to be walking the streets. They don't care that the Iranian government is using this as an Islamic cultural movement. They don't care that all this is happening, because all they need to do is create a destabilising factor so they can come in when people are demanding a new society. They're demanding a new change, and they'll come in and say, have you ever considered the Marxist agenda? Thank you for watching.